All right, everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm doing the thing that I do whenever I have a bunch of small children in a room. Yes, this is me, Betsy Bird. Hello! Thank you for coming and watching another episode of Fuse TV. This month, we're going to go with month on this one. This month, we are having a very special guest by the name of Victoria Jamieson. Victoria Jamieson, who has written Rollergirl, which is a really, really, really good graphic novel. Ooh, full color, lovely. Which is coming out very soon in March, and we'll be talking to her about that. But first, I must take you on a bit of a tour. So, as you know, every time I do one of these shows, I like to take you to something new that is children's literature related. Let's see, I took you to the Eric Carle Museum. I took you there in person. Then I took you to the Grolier exhibit that had the 100 children's books, and those were nice. But this time I'm going to get a little bit ambitious. I am going to take you across the Atlantic. I am going to take you to another country. I'm going to take you to Germany. Ooh, Germany. Yes, Germany. Germany, land of Struwwelpeter and the Grimm brothers, and this lovely, lovely place right here, the Internationale Jugendbibliothek. All right. So what is this? Yes, obviously it's a 15th century castle, like you do. But, you know, if you were to translate what it is called, it is actually the International Youth Library. It is located in the Blutenberg Castle in Munich. I once unexpectedly found myself in Munich. That's a story for another day. And had I but known about this castle, I probably would have tried to get into it. I worked in the Jefferson Market branch of NYPL, so I am no stranger to castles. But this one I did not know about. And you may not know about it either, and you must. You absolutely must. You see, founded in 1949 by Jella Lippmann, the International Youth Library is what you might call the very center of children's literature. Here's their mission: the preservation of cultural diversity as it is manifested in the world of children's literature, which is to say, hello, we need diverse books. Well, what can you do there, aside from just sort of die because it's so gorgeous? Well, they have exhibits, they have readings, they have workshops and panel discussions and talks and conferences, and you name it. An international literature festival is held there. School groups go there all the time, and there is even a stipend for foreign researchers. That would be you. The Children's Library has about 30,000 books in over 20 different languages that are lent out free of charge. So in short, what is not to love? If you have vacation time coming up, you want to go somewhere that's a little original, a little interesting, a little children's literature related, highly, highly recommend that you check it out. So, I haven't because I'm poor. But if you want to bring me along, I'm all for it. So, but today, I'm very, very happy because we have a very special guest. And this particular special guest is no stranger to the world of children's literature. Now, her name, Victoria Jamieson, in about the third grade, she wrote a book called Super Cow. It was a smash hit for her critics, her teacher, and her collectors, her friends. And later on, she went to the Rhode Island School of Design, or RISD, and decided to go into animation and then changed her mind and was drawn back towards illustration. Eventually, she worked as a book designer with HarperCollins Children's Books in New York. But at this precise moment in time, she is living the dream by living in Portland, Oregon, with her husband and son and surly cat. And she has a brand new book coming out. And that book, as I may have mentioned before, is called Rollergirl and is fantastic. Thank you so much, Victoria, for joining us today.
My pleasure. I'm honored. Thank you.
So, can you tell us a little bit about this book, what it's about, and why you chose roller derby as a subject?
Sure. Well, it's a book about a 12-year-old girl. It's a middle grade novel. So Astrid is 12 years old. She goes to a roller derby bout with her mom and best friend. And it's sort of the story of how she learns how to play the sport on one hand, and also how she and her best friend sort of develop divergent interests and sort of grow apart at the same time. And I chose roller derby because I'm a little obsessed with roller derby. And I think kind of anyone who plays roller derby gets a little obsessed. It's just that sort of sport that kind of consumes you and you get really excited about it. So I've known for a while I've wanted to write a book about roller derby.
That's great. And then, how did you get interested in roller derby yourself?
Through a book, which is pretty typical for me, like through a book. It was the book that Whip It, the movie, was based on. It's called Derby Girl by Shauna Cross. It's a YA novel. So I read that, and I was living in New York then, so I went to a New York bout, and I said, this is for me, I need to play this, and I got started.
Did any other publishing people get interested in it? Like, did you find like with a coterie of other publishing women who wanted to get into roller derby, or was it just you?
At the time, no, but through the years at various SCBWI conferences, I've met quite a few publishing derby folk. Some male derby players, some female, lots of us out there.
Excellent. And what is your roller derby name? Because I know that roller derby players have awesome names. So what is your name?
Well, I knew it had to be kids book inspired, so runner-up name was Encyclopedia Frown, which I did not go with. I went with Winnie the Pooh. That's good nickname possibilities, you know.
Yes, and having worked with Winnie the Pooh toys, I appreciate that one personally. And actually, I believe you inspired a post on my blog where people were suggesting different names. And I think you had mentioned to me earlier that one of them was Jacob Have I Shoved, which if you ever need like a third runner-up, I would go with that one because that is just so awesome.
I think it's reserved for you when you start to play roller derby.
I will do it. I don't know if I can dye my hair blue like she does in the book. That takes real guts, but I can try. So why comics? Why did you get into the form of comics?
It seemed like the right medium for this book. Like I said, I did picture books before, and picture books did not seem really appropriate for roller derby. It's a little bit older than a picture book. And I was trained as an illustrator. I consider myself a very visual person, and I was a little scared to just write a straight novel. So a graphic novel just seemed like the perfect avenue. I was scared because I'd never written one before. So I kind of practiced by doing some weekly comics just about roller derby and my experiences, and that was sort of my practice for doing a big graphic novel.
Did you post those, or were those just for you?
I did, yeah. I posted them on my blog, and it was nice. And I got good feedback from the roller derby community. It was just nice to kind of get my feet wet before I said, I'm going to do a 240-page book now.
Yeah. And are there any female graphic novelists or cartoonists that have inspired you in some way?
Many. Obviously, Raina Telgemeier is great. Love her. And CC Bell, El Defo was one of my favorite books this past year. And I think both of them just by the way that they use their personal experiences to tell a story. My book is a work of fiction, but I still tried to bring my own experiences into it. And one other cartoonist I really love was Lynn Johnston. I grew up reading For Better or For Worse. Loved it. My mom and I still talk about Elizabeth and Anthony. No, why? And they were like family members, and so yeah, I wanted to bring some of that into my work too.
Oh, that's nice. Oh. Now, of course, I can't help but think that, I had not heard of roller derby when I was a girl, though it had existed before, and it took me to be an adult before I even heard about it. Do you think there's going to be a rise in roller derby interest as this book comes out?
I really hope so. It's kind of my sweetest dream. Because that's how I learned about roller derby, and I really hope I get angry letters from parents saying, like, my kid wants to play roller derby now, thanks a lot. I really hope that happens. After the movie Whip It came out, a bunch of people joined roller derby, so yeah, I hope even if one person starts to play, my work here is done.
Cool. And finally, what are you working on next?
I've got 2 more graphic novels coming out. One is one for younger readers, kind of an early chapter book. And I'm working on my next middle grade graphic novel now. I'm just working on it now, so I still have a lot of work to do on that one.
Oh, well, thanks so much for joining us today and for talking up your book. It looks absolutely fantastic. I'll show it right here.
Thank you for having me. It was a real pleasure.
So this is Rollergirl, which I might point out has already gotten a star review from the circus. Not that School Library Journal wasn't giving it love as well. It is very fun. So thank you so much, Victoria, for coming on here today, and many thanks to Penguin Young Readers, who helped us get her and sponsored this week's Fuse 8 TV. And of course, thanks to School Library Journal, who hosts me and also is sort of available on your iPad, I would like to point out, if you are ever on the go. So thank you so much for watching today's show. And of course, if you want to see the complete playlist of all archived episodes, you can visit fuse8tv.com anytime you want. And thanks so much. See you next time.